Hey everyone, this is Michael with MTS 4K. Today I'm going to be talking about new XR projector style glasses that I'm really excited about. A few weeks ago, the company RayNeo saw my review of the Vitcher 1 XR glasses and they reached out about doing a sponsored video for their newly upgraded XR glasses, the RayNeo Air 2s. And of course I've had to say yes. This is my first ever sponsored video, but because of this I just want to be completely clear. This video is sponsored by RayNeo and the glasses were provided to me by them. But as always with all my videos, I'm going to give my honest review of the device, and all the opinions stated in this review are my own. Now let's go ahead and dig in. First up, let's talk about the design and hardware of these glasses. When I first got these glasses, I had no idea what to expect because I'd never heard of RayNeo before. But the box immediately had me intrigued when I saw micro-OLED display and 120 Hz refresh rate on the side. And then as soon as I opened the box, I was even more intrigued because these glasses have these super unique looking hinges that allow a much wider variety of head sizes to use them. There's actual built into these, they can tilt out that far. It's phenomenal. Something I have issues with myself since I normally have a pretty big head, so that was nice. Specifically in the documentation for these, they say the hinges have 9 levels of adjustment, so they should be able to fit and work for pretty much everyone, which is awesome. These glasses have a number of super interesting design choices that fix a bunch of my complaints about other XR glasses that I've tried, so I'm pretty excited to tell you guys about those. There are 3 main hardware and design features that these glasses have compared to other XR glasses out there that I specifically want to mention. The first thing is that the actual frame of the glasses can be tilted up or down to ensure full viewing angle is visible at all times. So you can see there's actually, when you move these, there's a little click. There's an actual hinge here that goes up and down to give you the perfect viewing angle based on your face size and shape. This way you don't ever have to worry about cutting off any corners or having any blurry edges. And with a massive 201-inch display, you're going to want to make sure you can fit everything that you can in that viewing space. And it does. It really does. That was one of my biggest complaints with some other glasses, but not having the edges cut off on these is spectacular. The second thing I want to mention, this doesn't really apply to me since I don't wear glasses, but these glasses do include these small little demo test frames. You can take these to your local eye doctor and actually have lenses made with your specific lens prescription. And this little frame, this little frame just slots right into the nose bridge on these glasses and stays right there, letting you use these glasses without having to wear your regular glasses or contacts. And they fit just like they normally would. And they feel the same even with that on there, which is really amazing. I tried it with those on, just the demo ones, and I couldn't even tell if they were on. It was spectacular. The third thing I want to mention is my favorite thing. Absolutely incredible display. Seriously, this display is huge, it's bright, it's colorful, it's just spectacular. One of the things I want to mention is the way that these displays work, since they're being projected right in front of your eyes. The display size is relative based on the distance that you can see kind of behind the glasses. So if you're looking at something up close, like a wall or something a foot or two away, the display is going to seem smaller, even though it's the same viewing size it always is. But the way these glasses are explained is it's a 201-inch display seen at 6 meters away. So it's as if you had a 201-inch TV 6 meters away from you. So if you're just laying in bed looking at the ceiling, which is one of the best use cases for these in my opinion, or just looking out into an open room, it very much is looking like an actual 201-inch display is just floating there in the middle of the room. It's spectacular. These are so much larger than any other projected display images in any other XR glasses. It's one of the things I mentioned in my Vitcher XR glasses review, was that if I looked down at my MacBook with those glasses on, the MacBook screen was actually still larger than the projected image on the glasses, but this is absolutely not the case with the RayNeo Air 2s. I put these on, I look at my MacBook, and it's still like way bigger. Even this close to a MacBook, it's just so much bigger than my 16-inch MacBook Pro using it on my lap. So having that and the 120 hertz refresh rate is such a nice improvement to have. Some of the other design things that I want to mention include really good sounding speakers. These speakers, as soon as you plug them in, they start at max volume. They can get pretty loud. They can't get too loud. So like that's kind of like unfortunate if you're hard of hearing or you like to have your audio really, really loud. But for me, they're almost always perfect. As soon as they boot up, it's just the volume, I can hear it. The speakers, they have a whisper mode you can activate through the interact button on the headset, which makes the sound more directionally go just to your ears and not as much so people around you can hear it. I think what it does is I think it turns off the speakers on the top of the headset and just uses the one that projects straight down. That's just my guess, but it did seem to work as intended. I was kind of testing my wife, can you hear this? Can you hear this? And she mentioned that the whisper one she could barely hear. These do include a very nice little hardened carrying case. It can fit the glasses and the corrective lens piece if you have the glass lens. And then it also can hold the USB-C cable for the glasses. So I found myself bringing this hardened case with me just everywhere I brought my Steam Deck in case I wanted to game and do it on the big screen. So with a high quality carrying case, honestly, that's a big win for RayNeo with that one. Unlike the Vitcher XR glasses that I've tried previously, these have an up-down rocker for brightness on the right side, and they have an up-down rocker on the left side for volume and for interacting with the on-screen menu. And I seriously love that. Being able to adjust your volume or your brightness separately or at the same time, super nice. Really glad they have that. They do have a super simple menu that you can activate by clicking the action button on the volume rocker, or it's right by the volume rocker on the left side of the glasses. As soon as you click that, a little tiny window pops up over the displayed image. You can switch between 60 hertz and 120 hertz, turn whisper mode on or off. You can switch the display color between standard, vibrant, or soft. It's just super easy to adjust it on the fly, and I love that. It just makes it really easy to use. You don't have this cluttered menu with all these different options right there. It was one of my biggest complaints with my Vitcher XR glasses. The Vitcher ones was I had to go into a menu and then switch between brightness or sound and then adjust each of them independently and then switch back to the other one and then adjust that one because it only had one up-down rocker. So these having two is really nice. Another interesting thing, these glasses, they have a little sensor in the middle where your forehead goes while we were wearing them. And they do turn off when that sensor doesn't sense your forehead there, which is great for conserving battery and prolonging the life of the device that it's plugged into when it's not in use. So I kind of like that. It basically turns off the display like seconds after you take them off, which I think is really well thought out. It's just like a cool little quality of life feature. Lastly, adjusting the glasses to fit and finding the right nose bridge is pretty easy. It literally just pops in and pops out based on which one you need. And the instructions even like show you, oh yeah, just like bend the nose bridge open and then like put it on your face and then tighten it to find the best fit for you. And it actually has these super nice little like padded squeezable silicone pads that it uses to sit on your nose bridge. They're super comfortable. I've never had any issues with those or leaving marks or anything. It's really nice. It's actually really comfortable. So that's a huge benefit of these. I really like that. All in all, I have absolutely no issues with the design or hardware on these. The screen is huge, it's vibrant, it looks great, the speakers sound good, it's got a lot of cool features. They killed it with all the additional features like volume up and volume down. Then the whisper mode, that's like really clever thinking, adding that as an option but not, setting it as default or anything. Just I'm very happy with everything about the RayNeo Air 2s. These are pretty spectacular. Before I talk about anything compatibility related for this headset, I just want to mention one small but noticeable improvement that this headset has over some other XR glasses. The cable that this headset uses to connect to external devices, it connects to the glasses using USB-C, instead of any kind of like proprietary magnetic cable like other XR glasses out there. Honestly, those glasses promote that as a feature, but this USB-C connection is a huge improvement in my opinion. It's much more secure, and it's never once fallen out or disconnected during use like some other XR glasses I've used before. I know some people like having the option to like quick remove, using proprietary magnetic cables, and like if somebody trips over some cord, even though it's right next to your head, it wouldn't, rip it out of the device, it just pulls off. But for me, when I'm using these, like laying down in bed or like on the couch, it's so much better having this cable just plugged in and secure and holding it in place than the magnet that can just be disconnected at the slightest bump. Like when you're laying there in bed and you turn slightly and it just pops off and the glasses disconnect, it's frustrating. So with these, using USB-C instead of a magnetic cable, that's spectacular. Now for compatibility, this is hands down an awesome pick to use with the Steam Deck and the Steam Deck OLED. You get a 201-inch micro-OLED display with 120 Hz refresh rate, and that goes up to 600 nits of peak brightness, which isn't necessarily a lot when compared to other glasses and screens, but on an OLED display, it's very good, and it's more than bright enough for me. When the glasses are first turned on, they default to level 5 out of like the 10 different brightness levels, which is actually probably perfect for most people, but I usually prefer my screens a little bit brighter, so I always bump it up to 10. Also, when you set it up to 10, it makes the screen kind of stand out a little more from like background items that you can see through the glasses, which makes it kind of a better viewing experience in my opinion. Something to note as well, these glasses display at 1920 by 1080p. The Steam Deck OLED actually has a smaller resolution of 1280 by 800p. So you'll get a similar and actually better experience using these glasses versus the regular OLED display. And you don't have to worry about the Steam Deck trying to power like a 4K display or any kind of high resolution thing, because it probably couldn't do that. So you're just getting a similar experience that you normally would on a Steam Deck, but a much larger display. I mainly use this with my Steam Deck OLED while gaming. I did try to use it with a couple other devices like the PlayStation Portal, which I use basically every day to check the Fortnite shop updates and play a game or two with my brother or friends. And I also tried using it with the Nintendo Switch, but the Portal doesn't output power or video from the USB-C port at all, so it doesn't really work with these or any XR glasses or external displays. It's not any fault of these, it's just the Portal's not designed to do that. These glasses should work with the Nintendo Switch, but you will have to use RayNeo's Joy Dock that they customize specifically for the Nintendo Switch and sell separately on their website. So I'll include a link in the video description below, but that wasn't included with what I was sent, so I can't really cover that accessory in this video, but they do sell it on there if you are interested in checking that out. It does let you power the glasses and I believe power the Nintendo Switch as well. One thing that I was unfortunately not able to test, but I think would be totally awesome and was told would work from RayNeo, is to connect these glasses directly to devices using an HDMI to USB-C HC3.1 adapter. According to RayNeo, if you purchase this adapter, and I'll put a link in the description for the one they recommend, it's a little bit pricey for an adapter in my opinion, you should be able to plug these glasses into your PS5 or your Xbox or even like an Apple TV and have the glasses like fully replace a TV. For me, I didn't really think that would be an option most people had ever used, because I was kind of like, why would you do that? Just get a TV. But after I thought about it, these are relatively inexpensive, and you're getting a 201-inch, 120 hertz TV that you can look at while laying down, while on the couch, and take with you everywhere, all for the price of these glasses. So I think that's a pretty good option compared to how much it would be to actually buy a huge TV with those features. Well, personally, I don't think I'll be replacing my family's living room TV with these anytime soon. I gotta say that 201-inch display and 120 hertz support does actually have me pretty interested in trying it out with my PS5. Specifically, I would love to test the higher refresh rate options in Destiny 2 Crucible. I only have a 60 hertz TV in my basement, so I've never been able to do the 120 hertz or whatever option that Crucible has in Destiny 2. But I think that'd be super cool. So at some point, hopefully I can pick up that adapter, give that a try, and hopefully let you guys know how that is. But according to RayNeo, it should work with that adapter and should be a pretty cool experience. So yeah, hopefully that's the case. Now I did try using this with several other devices, and I have some interesting notes on this. It works amazing with any iPad that has a USB-C port. I tried it with an iPad Pro, an iPad Mini, an iPad Air, and it worked with all of them exactly as expected. I didn't have any issues and thought it was an awesome experience. I did try using this with my iPhone 14 Pro Max with a variety of USB-C to Lightning dongles and different attachments from Anker and Apple and all these places. But unfortunately, none of those really worked with the glasses, and I never got them to power on. It's probably something Apple proprietary Lightning port something, but yeah, unfortunately, it didn't work with that. I did contact RayNeo to get confirmation on that, and they stated that these glasses only support direct connection with the iPhone 15 series and above, and then obviously Android phones with USB-C. But it's good to know that these should work for people with USB-C phones like iPhone 15 series or newer, and any Android phones that have USB-C. So cool to know that should be supported. One thing I do want to add, I did use these glasses with my MacBook Pro. I have a 16-inch M2 MacBook Pro. They worked great with that, except for there was one weird thing, and I'm not sure if it's an issue with the MacBook, recognizing the external display or what. The glasses work perfectly for everything that I wanted to use it for. YouTube, listening to music, running a D&D campaign, everything worked totally fine. But then I tried to watch the TV show Community in the Apple TV app on my Mac, and I noticed every 5 seconds or so the video would flash black for a second, like randomly. I tried it with a bunch of different shows that I'm watching right now: Stargate Atlantis, Community, Eureka, Star Trek Picard. Maybe you're sensing a theme here. I like sci-fi. And some of them had this flashing issue and some of them didn't. Star Trek Picard didn't flash black, but if I had it not full screen, the edges of the Apple TV window would flash white every 5 or so seconds, but then in full screen it was fine. Stargate Atlantis and Severance, both of those shows didn't have any issues at all watching in the Apple TV app, but then the other ones had the flashing issue. So I'm really not sure what's causing this, but I don't know if it's a MacBook thing or something with these. But again, it worked fine on iPads and everything, so I want to say that it's probably something with MacBook. In the end, though, YouTube worked fine, so it's not really the end of the world. These issues didn't happen on the iPads or any other device I connected them to, so I think it's just a macOS display issue. But who knows, maybe whatever the new macOS update is will fix that. So either way, for the compatibility of these glasses, they seem to work exactly as an external display should work for any USB-C devices that I would connect it to. So that's another win for these in my book. It's just nice knowing that for any device that has just a USB-C port, any of the ones that I tried except for the Portal, which is not designed to do that, I was able to just plug it in and go. So. All right, time for the important stuff. Let's go ahead and talk about pricing. I believe these glasses are pretty well priced compared to the rest of the XR market, particularly because these glasses and their unique feature set, like these glasses are perfect for using as a replacement or additional display with devices that you commonly use, like throughout the day, like a Steam Deck OLED, iPad, MacBook, iPhones with USB-C, most Android devices with USB-C. With these glasses, like you're getting just a huge, very nice display, great speakers, and just very well designed and well thought out hardware, I think at a fair price. But you're not getting any additional or super crazy features like the Viture XR glasses, where if you connect them to your phone and then pair the app, you can use your phone as a laser pointer with the glasses. Well, I think features like that are really cool. They're also really buggy. And you don't really end up using them that often after the first few times, in my opinion. I know you use it like once or twice and you're like, oh, this is cool, and then you're like, but I just want to watch a show. So these don't have features like that, but I think a lot of those can be a little bit gimmicky, so these are still completely in the running and very comparable to any other options out there. The RayNeo Air 2s, they are available on RayNeo's website or Amazon right now for $379.99 USD. Which I think is a pretty fair price for everything you're getting with these versus another brand. Like if you got like the Viture 1, they're like $439 for the base glasses or $459 for the pros. And with those other XR glasses, you're getting like a much smaller screen display size, less adjustable glasses. They don't have, the adjustable up-down. You have proprietary magnetic charging cables, which in my opinion is like a negative thing. And a few other downsides as well. The Vitra Pro display, it can get brighter than these, up to 4,000 nits of peak brightness. But then it says, you know, their perceived brightness is higher than 1,000 nits, so it might be 1,000 nits. I don't know, Vitra's not super clear on this. I'm gonna guess that it's 1,000 nits because 4,000 nits would be crazy. But with only a 135-inch display, the Vitra Pros still feel a lot smaller than the RayNeo Air 2s. I mean, 201 inches, that's crazy. To be honest, there's like just a ton of features the Vitra 1 and Vitra Pro glasses have that these don't. Such as a very futuristic feeling mobile app that you can use your phone as a laser pointer to select things from the menu, and a bunch of other interesting features like that. But again, many of those features, I tried them, they're super cool, but then they're like really kind of buggy, or they just don't work incredibly well, or you just don't really end up using them day to day. They're just cool a couple times and that's it. So I'm not sure that even then I would recommend those at this point. And for those, you're obviously also going to pay more for those features that you're probably not going to use as much, when you can pay less for a much bigger screen that's far more useful with your regular everyday devices. The RayNeo Air 2s do have a recently released iOS app for viewing spatial photos from an iPhone 15 Pro. I don't have an iPhone 15 Pro phone currently, so I'm not able to speak to that experience. But it is out there, so if anyone else has a pair of RayNeo Air 2s and has tried these spatial photos, please comment below and let me know. I'm really curious to see how that works. I know these glasses, they also have a 3D mode you can activate where you like click volume up and brightness up at the same time. I did try that while I was connected to a bunch of different devices, the Steam Deck, my MacBook, a bunch of different things. But I couldn't really discern any use from that. It just kind of like made it seem like I was seeing half of each screen, so I'm not really sure when you would normally use that. I couldn't find a lot in the instructions about that, but it's a feature on there if you like 3D stuff. The RayNeo Air 2s, they don't really have any of the super cool features the Vitra XR glasses have, and I think that is an important thing to be aware of here. In the end, when you're comparing these to other XR glasses, yes, you're missing out on some of the, you know, really interesting features like the laser pointer, or, you know, potentially the slightly higher brightness that the Vitra have, if they are actually 1,000 nits or whatever. But at the same time, like the display size that you're getting on this, the adjustability of the display, it's so much better. I mean, you get, yeah, significantly larger display, more secure USB-C connection port for the glasses. It has a better frame design. It's easier to adjust the viewing angle of, and then you get like all of that for a lower price. So there's definitely XR options out there that, you know, are kind of comparable, but in this case, I think the RayNeo Air 2s are definitely worth the price for what you're getting, especially when compared against anything else on the market right now. Nothing comes close to the display size of these, which is just spectacular. One of the last things that I want to mention in this video is I want to talk about room for future improvements. One thing I did find myself kind of missing with these was I kind of liked the electrochromic lenses the Vitra XR glasses have. These glasses are kind of in a weird place where they're dark enough to easily like see the content of the displayed image, even outside, like in broad daylight. But also I tried wearing these during like an in-person D&D session with some friends, and I found myself feeling like I wasn't in the room with them. And kind of disconnected because I couldn't see any of them, so I ended up taking them off. That session made me realize that these are definitely better to use alone for enjoying content and not as much for using around others, which even though the electrochromic lenses on the Vitra, like, you still can't see people through them very well, and you have to like tilt your head back and look underneath the glasses to see people, so like even with the electrochromic lenses, they're not great for using around other people. But I think it would be cool to have that on these, especially just to have a little bit like really dark or clear, really dark or clear. I don't know, it'd be cool to see them add that to these someday. One thing I did notice when I had my wife try these on is that if someone on the outside of the glasses looks at you while you're wearing these, they can pretty easily see a small little projection windows on the glasses in the center of each lens. It's just a little box that just shows like right in the middle, it's not an issue, and like as the wearer you can't tell it's happening, and you have to look straight at somebody for them to even be able to see it, and they'd have to be looking for it, and even then it's like this tiny little image to them because it's, you know, far away on the glasses. But I'd love for the lenses to be more reflective on the outside in a future update, or maybe even just darker for the next version of these to kind of prevent that from happening. I just think that'd be kind of a nice improvement. This is a small thing, but I wish I could default the lenses to always use 120 hertz. This was a slight annoyance that I had when using it with like iPad Pro, MacBook Pro, Steam Deck, because like whenever you can use a display in 120 hertz, you do, right? Like why use it in 60 when you can use it in 120? So that's something I'd love to see, is to have it actually remember the last refresh rate setting, so I don't have to set it each time. It's not really a huge deal. It's literally just the action button and then refresh rate, click the volume up, boom, it's at 120 and you're good. But it'd be nice to just change the default if I could. I'm not sure if there's a reason they made the default 60, maybe for compatibility with older devices. But yeah, just something I'd like. The display size on these is spectacular. I very much enjoyed it, obviously. But it's only 1920 by 1080p resolution when viewed in 2D. The 3D has a little bit different resolution. It's like 3840 by 18 or 1080p. But in the next version of these, I'd love to see a 2K or 4K resolution on these, mainly because the display is so large. There were times when like smaller text was really difficult to read on such a large 1080p display. Like, especially when I was using this with my MacBook, or like taking notes on things or writing stuff down, even like writing, you know, some of this review, I noticed that sometimes the words could be harder to see or seemed almost blurry, just because they were so small compared to the size of the display. Because it's obviously it's 201 inches, 6 meters out. That's a pretty big distance. So yeah, they just seemed a little bit too small for me. It's not a huge deal since the main use of these is not for reading. But it's just something I noticed, so I would love to see that on a future version where they do make it a little bit higher resolution to see words a little bit easier, make it easier to read on. But in my opinion, I think the trade-off of the larger display is totally worth it on the current version versus, you know, having a smaller display but being able to read the words easier. Because, I mean, let's face it, you get this to watch movies, you get this to watch shows, you get this to game on. Nobody's out there trying to, you know, read a book on these glasses. Or if you are, get a Kindle instead. So, review down below. Anyway, yeah, so that's pretty much all the things I had to mention about the room I had for future improvements. I love these glasses already. I'm kind of excited to see what they come out with eventually if they do Air 3s. So, time for me to say my final thoughts on the RayNeo Air 2s. All in all, this has been such an interesting time testing these glasses out. There were so many things that I loved about these, because honestly, like everything they said they could do on the packaging, they could do, and it worked exactly as they said it would. Like, you know, yeah, with some other XR glasses out there, you can have more features or do more things. But also they cost a lot more, and most of the time you have to buy a bunch of additional accessories like neck bands and hubs and adapters and, you know, all this stuff. And these were just buy these glasses, plug them into any USB-C device, and, you know, with the exception of devices that aren't built for it like the Portal or something, it's just gonna work. These glasses were great because with them you get exactly what you're supposed to: a giant and vibrant 201-inch micro-OLED display with 120 Hz refresh rate. You get great sound, you get a whisper mode for personal audio listening, and then easy connection to any USB-C device. And then obviously, you know, the non-proprietary USB-C connector that keeps it in and keeps it stable and doesn't randomly pop off like magnetic connectors do. To be honest, I love these glasses more than any of the other XR glasses I've tried, mainly because of how easy they are to use and how well they work every time. I literally have, I carry this around most of the time with kids, like hook things on. I just have it clipped on my belt, but I found myself literally clipping the little hook of this case onto this to just carry it with me on the side of my shorts, so when I wanted to use them, they were there. And that's how much I really like these. I actually bring them with me to places in case I want to use them. So That's a big thing to say about these, I think, is I actually brought them with me and enjoyed using them versus some other ones where I ended up just putting them away and never touched them again. So I plan on using these well into the future. I'm so happy with these. I'm ecstatic. I love using these with my Steam Deck. I find myself, every time I whip out my Steam Deck, I'm putting the glasses on. So hopefully you guys find this review useful and pick yourself up a pair as well if you want to try them out for yourself. I've added a link in the video description if you want to look into these with a little more detail, get some more information on there. Thank you everyone for taking the time to watch this video review. If you enjoyed the video and you want to support the channel, please like and subscribe. And then obviously if you really like the channel and you want to get some merch or something, I do have some merch now. Kind of cool little, got a Steam Deck on here, MacBook, AirPods, different things that I like. Maybe you guys like them too. So if you guys are interested in supporting the channel, there's some stickers and shirts and aprons and all kinds of stuff down there if you want to check those out. And then if you've tried the RayNeo Air 2s or any other XR glasses, comment below and tell me what your experiences have been like with those. And then let me know what glasses you tried and how your experience was. Really curious to see everyone else's points of view on other glasses that are out there and these ones as well. So thank you so much everyone for watching. I'll see you next time.